Now, Mocha was not paying me any attention until I decided to pick my phone up. Did you have something you wanted to say, Mocha? Well, it looks like she has something to say. Suddenly she wants to be my buddy. Anyway, this is Vita Songbird checking in. I have not checked in on a live video in a while. And I realize I need to tell some parts of my story. Yeah. And I'm going to start dropping those videos in as they come. Because when one person tells their story, that story will help someone else. It may not help everybody, but it will help somebody. Yep. So I'm going to do that. It's been on my mind like for the longest time now. So it's time. It is time to start telling that story. I thought I was going to start the story today, but right now I'm not going to tell that story. I don't think. But anyway, that story is coming. Comment below if you want to hear that story. Hear those stories that make me me. Some of those stories are painful, some of those stories are painful. Some of those stories are painful. Yeah. But I'm going to drop those stories in my YouTube history. Yep, because I believe that some of those stories, if not all of them, will help someone. Maybe help someone to see a better way, make a different choice, get some wisdom. Yeah, yep. How did Mocha come about? Yeah, let me tell you about how Mocha came about. Mocha will be 9 years old, October 17th. Yeah, I kind of guesstimated her birthday because I got her 8 weeks after she was born. So I guesstimated her birthday to be October 17th. But anyway, it's legal because that's what it is. Mocha came into my life after I had a miscarriage. Yeah, that was a time in my life for sure. Hmm. The first lesson I learned in that situation in my life is always get a second opinion. Always get a second opinion. Um, I won't really tell you what year that was, but not so long ago, I was pregnant. Yeah. And sometimes when you go to the doctor is like telling you something, but in your heart and in your mind, you're feeling like, no, something else has gotta be wrong, right? So I'm just gonna try to speed this story up really quick. So I'm going through my pregnancy and I'm like, why is my stomach like feeling funny? You know? Hello, Mr. Jesse K9. Yeah, so I was like, why is my stomach like feeling funny? And then my stomach just kept feeling funny. So I was like, okay, let me make an appointment to go to the doctor. So I go to my OBGYN and my OBGYN is telling me, oh, you just probably have gas. And I'm like, I've been living a long time and I know what gas feels like. But of course, if you've ever been pregnant, I know you haven't been pregnant. But if you've ever been like pregnant, then you'll know that that wasn't gas. But at first, I tried to like, okay, I was like, well, maybe that's what it is, because when you're pregnant, everything gets like shifted around. Your intestines are all squished together and everything. But then it just kept going on and on and on and on and on. So finally, I went back to the doctor again. So when I go back to the doctor that time, suddenly they put me on bed rest. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so how do I go from gas to now being on bed rest? Now, this was on that particular day. Now, I go to the doctor, and then it just seems like everything just started speeding up, and then my stomach just was hurting. It was hurting, and I was like, okay, this cannot be gas. It cannot be gas. And then before I could even like make it home, my stomach was like in so much pain. Now, mind you, I had a child before, so I had experience with that pregnancy, but this pregnancy was just totally different, like every pregnancy usually is. By the time I got home, I was like in so much pain. I felt like I was having a baby. So I was like, oh my goodness, I know the doctor told me to get in the bed, so I'm trying to get in the bed. I'm trying to get people to come and help me. Before I could even like get in the bed, I was like in the bathroom, and like all of a sudden I just felt like I was having a baby while I was in the bathroom. I was like, oh my goodness, like, whew, talking about being in pain. I was actually home alone. That was horrible. So then I suddenly felt like this stuff. If you had a baby, you know, this stuff that comes out, we won't get all explicit or anything. And I was afraid to look in the toilet. I was so afraid to look in the toilet. So I called this wonderful person that I knew that I could depend on, and they came over quickly and took me to the emergency room. That was a time. That was a time. So then I get to the emergency room. They go through the whole thing, put me up in the little triage on the labor and delivery floor. And then, of course, I had to go through those things that follows that. But actually, I'm gonna call it a baby because that baby looked like a baby. I don't care what people say, even though when those babies are young, it looks like a baby. But anyway, my unborn future child did not come out, so it was like still inside. And this is like probably the worst part of like the whole situation, depending on how you have a miscarriage. Because, like, when you know that your baby is inside, but your baby is not going to be a baby, your baby is not breathing, you're in the hospital, and then you have to go through these things that you have to do to help everything to be okay. So this was one evening. I really can't remember which day it was right now. I want to say it was probably a Thursday. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. Anyway, I had to wait until the next morning. So when the next morning came, I had to go in to the little procedure. I think it was like at 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh, what am I forgetting? Ooh, telling stories that happened a while back. Yeah, I had to take this medicine that brings on these awful cramps, awful contractions. Once again, it's like it started that whole having a baby feeling again. Whew. And I had to birth my would have been future son. Yeah. Unfortunately, the placenta did not come out. So that's why the next morning I had to end up going in to the other procedure where they had to put me to sleep to get the placenta out. Now, if anyone knows anything about releasing the placenta, that's like concrete stuck inside your body. Like it's stuck in there. Because like when they were like trying to get it out, it wouldn't like budge. So they had to like put me to sleep so that yeah, so that it would come out. Yeah. Yeah. And so after that, I was like, okay, I need to do something to help myself to heal after that situation. And then my coworker was at work one day and she said, "Oh, my friend has these dogs. They're so cute, blah, 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 blah. They're little dogs." I was like, okay. So maybe that's an idea. Give me a little something to love on, to take care of. Yeah. And I guess if you're paying attention, like I said, Mocha will be 9 in October, in a few more months. So yeah, I just dated that situation. If you're paying attention, but yeah, that's something that happened in my life back in the day. I can smile now, but during that time, it was like really a painful situation. Very painful. Very, very painful. Any questions? Yeah. So anyway, that's just one story. I said I can share that part since Mocha came to take over the camera when I started this live. We never know what will happen, how it will happen. Because when that pregnancy started, there's some other little bits and pieces along the way. They'll most likely come out because that's where my story, my story is heading, to shed light on some of those situations in my life that were not so pleasant. That were not so pleasant. But I am here today. I am here today. Yep. So, if you would like to hear some more of these interesting stories about Vita Songbird, drop a comment and let me know. If you have any questions, drop those questions and let me know what those questions are. And I will do my best to address them. But yeah, one thing I've learned for sure, when you're carrying a baby, it's like you never know exactly what will happen. You can expect and hope for a healthy pregnancy, but it's like you really don't know what will happen. Sometimes situations in your life happen that create issues in your pregnancy. Some things happen that are beyond your control, you know, but you just never know. Because I never in my life would have imagined that I would have had a miscarriage, but I did. I did. And it's not something that you want to go through like by yourself. So if you know someone who's suffered the loss of a future child that did not survive, support them, love them, nurture them, sit and listen and learn to be quiet and listen. Give them some hugs. They don't need you to remind them that they lost their baby. And that's something that, like, a lot of people, when they come around, they want to just keep talking about what you already know. Be kind to that person and don't do that. Love that person. Love that person. Send them to get a mani pedi, you know. Sit with them and just be quiet. Find out what they would like to do and help them do those things. Now, one thing for sure, like after you have a miscarriage, depending on how far along you are, but I don't really think it really matters how far along you are. For me, I was actually 19 weeks, just shy of the number that they say that they will try to save the baby. But even looking back now on what I know now, like right now, To me, those babies can survive at 19 weeks. Now, that's just my thought. But I believe at that time they said it had to be 21 weeks. And here I was at 19 weeks. And then another thing, like when I went into the ER, they were given certain medical information, but at no point did anyone ever check to see if they heard a heartbeat. And I thought about that like after the fact. What if, just what if, there was a heartbeat and they let me sit there in that ER and let my baby die? So many thoughts started to come to mind. And over the years, so many thoughts came to mind, but that was one that definitely came to me initially. And then so many questions started to come to mind to myself. It's like, so did I fail myself or did I allow the medical system in our world to fail me? Because we are our first advocate, right? So why didn't I jump up and say, ah, aren't you going to check and see if my baby is still breathing in there? Hmm. But then I realized that the way things happen, it was exactly how God intended for it to be. God knew ahead of time. That's what I believe. God knew when I conceived that that baby would not live to become a baby to grow up in this world. I didn't know it. God knew it though. Yeah. And today I'm just thankful for that experience. Though it was emotionally painful, physically painful, mentally painful, I survived. I survived. Yeah. And so, what I would like to share with you is even when situations happen in our lives beyond our control, we will go through those things, but we will survive. Yeah. You will survive if you are in that situation, if you are the father or if you are the mother that gave birth, you will survive. Yep, there will be hard days. Many things will trigger memories. Hearing other people's babies, seeing baby photos, going through the baby section in the stores, going to whatever situation and you see other people with babies, especially if you've never had the joy of having your own child. Everything becomes a constant reminder. Even those things, they will pass. Day by day, it will get better. Day by day, it will get better. Yep. So that's my first story. I I don't really say that I'm a storyteller. I don't feel like I'm a storyteller, but I said if I don't start practicing, then I won't get better. So here I am practicing on my channel. So by the end, I think I'll become a better storyteller. So now you can comment below and let me know how I'm doing. Do you think I'm doing well with my story? Sharing my testimony. One of my testimonies. And I'm just thankful for life as well, because even in that situation, being home alone when I started having that miscarriage, anything could have happened to me before help came to me. I could have bled out, could have fainted, I could have passed out or whatever. But I didn't. None of those things happened. And then that person that like came to help me, they came right on time, like quickly. And then everything was just after that taken care of. Yeah. Thank you for joining my channel. If you have not subscribed, thank you for subscribing. I'm going to upload this live. So if you missed the beginning, thank you for joining. But if you missed the beginning, I would like you to go back and check out this impromptu storytelling about my, no, about me. Yeah, about my story. Anyway, the working girl needs to start getting ready so we can begin to go to bed. Thank you. Vita Songbird is signing out. Take care of yourselves and most importantly, be kind.